Well, hey everybody. So, yeah, a little more bearable out. It's actually above zero. Problem is though, is this weekend looks like it's gonna be a nasty winter storm this weekend. So, looks like we're gonna hit again, and I think I don't need anything in here. Yeah, I gotta fill jugs up with number 2 again out of the fuel tanks over there, but kind of didn't get that warm today, so wait till tomorrow when the sun shines again, because it got cold last night, so I'm just gonna wait with that. But I think I got the tractor plugged in. Gotta feed calves tomorrow, replacements and whatnot. So anyways though, cover crops. I mentioned before what I was kind of hoping to do, what I was gonna do. Right now I don't know, it depends on the weather. I can really order the seed at any time I want. They sent me a quote on a mixture, late season mixture, and I asked them to add in some radishes and turnips too as well. But it looked like it was going to be about, well, I guess I forgot to mention I might be probably broadcasting it because of because I don't own the air drill and I don't own the TG, so for me to use the no-till drill compared to spring seeding, it's gonna cost me a lot more. Spring seeding, I do kind of get a pass on it a little bit with, not as bad of rent, because, well, my brother needs it, dad needs it for his crops, and helping him plant his crops, and yada yada, so kind of works out in the end then. But if I were to do cover crops with it though, it's gonna cost me a lot more to put it in. So if I were to just to broadcast it, really just fuel for the 7030 T7030. So, and then of course I'd probably run over with the Harrow, then the light Melrow Harrow. So I got my tractor I can use, so TS6. So it doesn't cost me as much there for fuel there then. So yeah, I could run that for about an hour and a half, I suppose. It was about 17 bucks an acre, but I guess if I were to broadcast it, it's going to be a little bit more, and I got to do some more. I forget what the whole mixture was again, because with broadcast too, I got to look up some of those crops too, the seed depth, what it requires and whatnot. So I'll have to just doing more research too, seeing once, but that place does all the mixing and everything, so what I have to do is just pick it up, pay for it, and pick it up, ready to go then. So I don't know how much I'll do. Either I might do about 35 acres or maybe 70 if I do 2 little fields. The fields I can do it on, it varies. It might be a rotational thing, like, it might be every 3rd year I can maybe do a cover crop, because I won't be able to do it every year. If they're a wheat or a durum field after harvest, yes, I can do it then. But if it's, flaxseed, depends how late it's getting, and then soybeans or corn is definitely not an option for me. But there are ways to do it though. There are ways to get a cover crop in with corn and soybeans, but the thing with me though as well is time. I don't have that much time either, but if I were to do those cover crops, it'd be bright and dark and early in the morning probably to go get that done, spread it and harrowed then. But at that time of year then, either with harvest, trucking, the cattle take up a lot of time. So, and speaking of crops in general too, got a question a while back too about why we have so many little grain bins around the farm here, especially some like these. Reason is that when we were starting out on this farm here, we weren't that big. Even back in the 80s and 90s, there were still a lot of small farms in the area yet. Quite a few farms, but after those 2 decades, a lot of farms ended up going under. So either land came up, either for buying or renting. Pretty much 20 years ago, I want to say, see what's here, 2002, was it 2001? I have to think about that, but anyways, pre the year 2000, pre that year, only grain bins we had were these three here. The two east bins there in the yard there by that white building. Of course, that white building used to be a granary too. Used to store grain on the two sides. You know, in the middle is open to be able to walk in, but you know, used to store grain on the two sides there then. That was it. That was it for many years. But I think first off though, like maybe 30, 40 years ago, it just used to be those two bins and the granary. As you can see, those two bins in the yard there too, they look kind of funny. Like the middle part looks brighter, more shiny. It's because rings were added onto those bins many years down the road then, so they could store more then. I think they're about, I forget, are they 2,000 bushel bins? I'll get back on that later, but you know, it just used to be that then. Then Dad put these bins up then. I think this is about I think this is a 3,000 bushel. Then these two are 2,400, I want to say. I don't remember. So we had added them. Then that's all we had for many years. And of course, as we expand, then we added that hopper bin in the yard. And this one, and the little hopper bin here, the second bin in there. We added those in. But then in 2003, this hopper bin and that hopper bin went down in a storm when our brick barn blew over. So we had to salvage what we could out of those bins, and then whatever rings were good, we built this bin here then. This little short stubby bin, I think it's about 2,000 bushels, but those are all the good rings yet and everything, and had a good, whatever, the tops were good yet, the top cone was good, and had somebody pour cement, and we put up that little grain bin then. Of course, we had to build two new hopper bins then, so the company come out and redo them then. Luckily, the hopper bottoms were good yet. The bottom cones were good, so they were just able to build up a new bin and whatnot on both of them. So then it could have been 5 years later then. We got the two big corrugated bins here then. Those are 5,000 bushels. And then, as you guys know, the 5 white Meridian bins now, those went up from either in 2011 to last year, slowly adding them. The reason why we didn't build like maybe one giant 20,000 bushel bin instead of having, you know, 5 little 4,000 bushel bins. It's not as much lately, but you know, we have a variety of crops. Like sometimes we plant barley, wheat, durum, flaxseed, soybeans, corn, sometimes rye. We have feed oats on hand. You know, sometimes you got a variety of crops, and not even counting in the organic program. Dad still has got some land yet, still in the organic program yet, so that's a whole nother overhead debacle there, but you know, need a separate storage for that. So, you know, for all those little crops and whatnot, you know, on the few acres we have, you know, it's kind of having multiple bins instead of a couple of giant ones gives us more options then for, you know, optimizing storage and what bins to use and whatnot. So that's why we have, you know, littler bins up to this point. But if I were to guess though, if we were to ever put up another grain bin, it's probably going to be a big one. I don't know how big, you know, at least 10,000 bushel probably, if I were to guess. The problem is though, is where to put it. Because right now, anywhere around the yard here, there's no more room. Like, there is not a very good place for it. It almost would have to be put up over here somewhere because, well, we got the power box there now. Transformer, whatever, over here for those bins in the building. So, you know, you'd almost want to put any additional structure over here because you got the electricity for it there. You got the power for it. The problem is just where to build it. I don't know. Maybe you'd end up putting it down here, 1/8 of a mile kind of on that. It's kind of flat there. There's a divider fence here. Goes across. You can probably see the gateway down there. Maybe we'd have the bin there somewhere because it's pretty decently flat there. So we have a approach there, dirt approach. So you know that might be the place for it. Really, just have to put a fence around it and whatnot. But it would probably work fine down there. Really, so for any additional grain bins, but I do like the hopper bins though. It's very little fuss, very little work with them. The corrugated ones, there's a little more sweeping involved on the side, but the smooth walled Meridian bins though, those are real nice though. There's hardly any work to do with them. You got to crawl a little bit, make sure you get the stuff around the fan duct a little bit, get that cleaned up. But other than that though, there's hardly nothing to them. Hardly nothing to fuss with them. Hardly any work whatsoever. So I do like my hopper bins. They're probably a little more pricey compared to just using a bin like this with cement. But then again, cement's pricey too and whatnot, and that's kind of a set in stone structure. Hopper bins, you can move them. They can be moved. I mean, that's basically the main reason why we have so many little bins like this, is because, well, that's what we had. These bins are old. They really are old. But as we expand and whatnot, well, just think. Only thing here back in 2003 were these two grain bins. This little one and this one little hopper bin. That's it. And now you look at today now. 7 more bins. A big building. A lot of stuff changes in that short amount of time. Just nuts. And for so many years just scraped by, just barely hanging on, and finally had a decent year for grain prices, and then the cattle market helped a little bit in the past 15 years, and we were actually able to do something then, actually make something then, expand. But now we're kind of at a standstill again with prices and whatnot. And oh yeah, what was I gonna mention about those 2 bins? Oh yeah, those 2 bins in the yard here by that white building there. If those bins ever we decide to take them down, we'd probably put a hopper bin there then, because it's got a cement pad there already. All you have to do is just set a new hopper bin right on top of it. So I don't know what hopper bin we'd go with. I don't know what size would actually fit there for sure. I'm not sure if one of those, if we would get another white Meridian bin, or if that would fit there or not on that cement pad or not. I don't know. Hope I don't have to, like I say, hope I don't have to do that for a while. That's with a lot of things around the farm here. A lot of the structures. Hope I don't have to do anything for quite a while. I don't have to think about that right now. Is there a little more fussing, moving from bin to bin with crops? Yeah, there's a little bit more fussing, but what are you gonna do? We had these bins for many decades. They still work yet, they still serve a purpose, so. But put it this way, they've greatly paid for themselves. And much, much more. So, can't complain, I guess. So, yeah, we moved a lot of snow yesterday. Payload on the Bobcat. Yeah. Getting built up there. You can even see across the road here again. You can see the snowbank there, and we got a path through there again. But I have a feeling after this weekend again, it's gonna be blocked again. I'm sure. And up north too. I'm sure it's gonna be blocked once again. We got a lot of bales sitting out though. We got a bunch of bales here. Got a bunch of bales sitting in the yard right now. And bales just right north of those trees there, ready to go. Got bales sitting all over just so we don't have to hopefully unplug up north for a while. We can let it go for a few days, so we won't even need to go up there then after this storm then. So, but yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and yeah, appreciate the comments and questions. Good question. Kind of jogged the memory a little bit. Reason for everything around here.